My name is James Blackburn. I live and work in the American Southwest. As a result, I have the good fortune to be able to travel to a variety of beautiful locations. As a professional filmmaker, I document my life through video adventures and I share them with the world. Stay tuned as I travel through the world of movies and the beautiful outdoors. Thanks for watching the James Blackburn Experience.
Good morning, day 4 on the Green River. Beautiful morning so far. Birds are singing, sun's coming up. Who could ask for anything more?
Chapter 5, Jasper Canyon Camp. On the river, I'm at a loss for words, and under a canopy of stars, walls of sandstone, murky water, and twisting side canyons. Memories become lost in time, one day blending into another, and I forget some things but remember the important stuff, like the days and the nights, and where we pitched our tent and saw ancient ruins, the friendships and nature, and the great meals we had along the way, plus some of the most amazing sunrises. It's moments like this that make me truly happy to be alive. Look at all this beauty, folks. Truly good medicine. The morning was indeed beautiful and quiet. As we packed up the last of our gear, I was attempting to keep myself calm as the river journey was going to begin again soon. My mind was still on the incident from a few days ago, and I was definitely nervous about our river time today, just like yesterday. We were off, and the adventure had begun. It was exciting to be on our way. Other helpful tips. The wind can be gale force in the canyons and tends to pick up in the afternoon. We recommend getting up early and getting some miles under your belt. That way if the wind picks up, you won't be left with 10 plus miles to paddle into a headwind. Either way, be mentally prepared for this challenge. On all 3 trips that I've done here over the years, I've gotten a major headwind coming in and on at least one day every time I've ever been there. So it is a real thing to think about and be prepared for. On this morning, we were not so lucky with the wind. It did come in the afternoon, but it was also here now in the early morning. It made the paddle a little more difficult, and we had to make sure we kept the canoe straight in the waves. Obviously, we did not want another incident. Safety was in the front of our minds. We worked hard on these miles today and had to stay focused. We came together as a team and knew we had a safe float ahead of us. It was going to be a challenge, but aren't some of the best things in life a challenge? We were up for it and on our way down the Green River again. As we did our float down the Green River, my nerves improved quite a bit, and instead of being nervous, I was starting to enjoy it again, just like yesterday. And of course I did wear my life vest again today, and will continue to do so anytime I'm on the water. Now for a little bit about the history. In the summer of 1869, a one-armed Civil War veteran named John Wesley Powell put together a 10-man expedition to explore and chart the Green River and Colorado River from Wyoming to the Grand Canyon. Over 99 days and close to 1,000 miles, he and his men navigated unmapped canyons and plunging rapids, enduring searing heat, the destruction of one of their 4 boats, the dangers of rattlesnakes and rock slides and scorpions being as big as a hand, and the loss of most of their hats to violent winds and waves. The trip was not without its controversies. Several of Powell's biographers had made light of evidence that the Major was a bit loose with the facts on that journey, and that he suppressed any publication of rival trip reports by his men. More controversial is the fate of the 3 members of the party who, just 80 miles or so from the end, decided to abandon the expedition, leave the river, hike out of the canyon, and set out across the desert for a Mormon settlement. That they died a horrible death is certain, though whether it was by thirst or by attack in a case of mistaken identity is still debated. More questionable still is the fact that Major Powell, upon reaching the end of his expedition and returning to Washington, D.C., never sent out a search party to look for the lost men, nor even inquire about their fate. Notwithstanding the critiques of Powell himself, his expedition remains one of the great achievements in American exploration. The historian Wallace Stegner called it the second opening of the West after Lewis and Clark's adventure. The last major blank space of blank space on the American map was filled in. Not to mention the contributions to geology, biology, and geography that the expedition yielded. Drawn in by Powell's harrowing adventures and vivid descriptions of the desert, and intrigued by the prospect of canoeing through Utah's most famous canyonlands, our party embarked on a 52-mile slice of river adventure, meager by some standards, but just fine by ours. After all, it was October in the desert, and we had no intention of having to quit and walk out.
You gotta be moving like about 4 miles an hour.
Yeah, we're cooking pretty good.
After about 9 or 10 miles of paddling, we arrived at Jasper Canyon Camp, and it was not taken yet. We will have 2 days here, and I was looking forward to it. The canoes were unloaded, and we had the entire rest of the afternoon and evening to relax and do whatever we wanted. After a long float today, I was hot and felt like cooling off and freshening up in the river. I was going to go in full body, but the water was colder than I expected. So I just got in partially and I used the water to help cool off.
Alright folks, I was gonna dip into the river all the way over my head, but it was so cold when I got in up to my waist that I was like, alright, I'm cooled off. Splash some on my head, my face, feel much better. Oh, that was intense. All right, I'll be honest, that cruise here today was rough. There's a lot of wind. The water was very rough. You can still see it's a little choppy, but it was big waves of water almost coming in the boat. 10 miles of that. And we had a couple moments where it calmed down and the wind was gone and we had the glass-like water again. But for most of it, it was a tough, very tough paddle today. But don't get me wrong, folks. Not complaining, just an observation. I still love being here. It's still an amazing place. I mean, look all around me. It's just absolutely beautiful. And you know something, even though I love blue skies, there's something kind of pretty about the white clouds in the blue skies with the red rock like that. Gorgeous.
A lot of color contrast.
Because it was a hotter day, I found some shade and took a rest for a while. This is another one of my favorite things about being in the wilderness. I know it may look uncomfortable, but I was actually quite content in this moment. It was quiet, the shade felt nice, and I was in a beautiful place. Absolutely amazing. And yes, in case you're wondering, I did indeed check this place for snakes and other varmints before I decided to lay down here. After a little nap in the shade, I woke up and yawned some. I knew it was time to get my tent set up for the night. Soon there will be time-lapse of the tent setup. Here we go!
Good thing I got the tent set up because it's starting to rain.
The weather was changing with some high winds and rain coming our way soon. I really needed to get this shelter and all my gear inside before that happened. Thankfully, I just finished getting it all done when the storm hit us. We all retreated to our tents to wait it out.
Alright, got everything in the tent just in time because it's starting to rain a little harder out there. Although it's still gentle rain, it's always nice to be prepared. So here I am, in the tent of awesomeness. The rain is getting heavier and the wind is getting crazy. I have this thing completely staked down, thankfully, but man, it's picking up some dust.
It got rough for a while, with some intense winds and quite a bit of rain too. The winds were so bad that several of my tent stakes were pulled out of the ground. The tent also collapsed on me several times during the storm. That was a first for me.
It's been raining off and on for a couple hours, I think. And it's supposed to clear up sometime tonight. But at the moment, it's still coming down pretty good, and I'm just laying in the tent relaxing. Took a little nap, it felt really great. You know, it rained for hours, and the ground is dry again already. The sand just sucks it up like a big sponge. But I got myself a nice nap in there for 2-3 hours probably. I feel a lot more rested. Now I'm going to head down to base camp after I take in some more of this magnificent view. Looks like we're lining up for a nice sunset. Beautiful.
The winds can be really strong in these canyons sometimes, but the tent did keep me dry, and I even took a short nap when the storm calmed down some. After the rain, I went outside and secured my tent stakes to the ground and put some heavy rocks on top of them. This seemed to work, and I had no further stake issues after that. Another classic southwest sunset. It was like looking at a painting, only better. Up to this point, I have never been here, only seen it in photos and videos. Being here in person is so much better. I breathed in the canyon goodness and felt the good medicine of the wilderness heal me from within. Then dinner provided by Roger. Some yummy noodles with chicken. Thanks, Raj. And then for the evening campfire. And of course, some slow motion, as usual. Under a starry sky, we enjoyed another great campfire experience. Good friends camping together and sharing memories. That's the life I love, and I am grateful for every moment.
All right, folks, that completes, I think, day 5, I believe. Tomorrow's 6. Yeah, day 5. Wow. I can't tell you how many miles we've canoed so far. It's around 40, but it's been an awesome trip. So I'm going to wrap it up here by saying love, love, hate, hate. Take care of each other, and I'm going to be crashing out here in the tent in just a few minutes. I can't stop smiling.
Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. Remember, folks, life is beautiful if you know where to look. Keep your eyes, your heart, and your mind open. It just might lead you somewhere special. Thank you for watching the James Blackburn Experience. Please check out my channel for over 1,000 additional video adventures.